Welcome back. Before we went to break, Sean said he would tell us a little bit more about his past rebellious lifestyle and how he came full circle. Sean, tell us, how did you do it?
Well, you know, it was a God thing with me because I was in full-blown rebellion, angry young man, angry teenager, angry at the world, thought everybody hated me, so I had to push back. Had a bad temper, got in trouble all the time. My mom had to go to school all the time because I was in trouble, threatened to be kicked out, suspended so many times.
What suggestions would you have? What advice would you give to a single mother raising a rebellious teenager?
The first thing I would say, there are a number of things I'd say, but the first thing I'd say is prayer. God is a God of the impossible. He can change hearts. Scripture says the heart of the king is in the hand of God, and he changes it like a water course. God is number one. Number two, seek counseling, seek advice. And I would say, as a single young mother, I don't believe that any woman can effectively, it's not designed by God for a woman to effectively raise a young man. Seek advice, seek someone who can be a father figure to that young man. Someone in church, your youth pastor, your pastor, a deacon, someone in church who can really take on that role in a young man's life.
That's wonderful. You also mentioned about pornography. Again, the same question. If there is a young man, or even a man in general, full-grown man, who is struggling with pornography, what advice or what suggestions or what would you tell them?
Well, if he's struggling and he wants to become free of pornography, one of the things that throughout my struggles, I remember praying, crying, repenting, praying, this vicious cycle of praying, crying, repenting. I remember clearly the Lord said to me one day, what you hold secret will always hold you a prisoner. And so when I became very open about my struggles, when I started to talk about it and become accountable, not just to one, but to many people, it started to lose its power. I realized it started to lose its power because there's no secret the enemy could have over my head anymore. Satan, his power is in your secret sins. But once I openly confessed, I openly told people about my struggle, I noticed that there was a remarkable change in how it was losing its power. And it took a process. It's a process because it never happened overnight. It happened over years.
Okay.
And people holding me accountable, people asking me direct questions, and, you know, things like that.
Wow. So the method that you basically applied was prayer and counseling.
Prayer, counseling, yeah, accountability partners, you know, friends who will hold you accountable.
Shame. What about if the young man, or woman for that matter, is afraid of shame or rejection? If they open up to someone and say, well, I struggle with pornography, perhaps they will be rejected by the parents, their peers. You know, what suggestion would you have? Because a lot of them, they don't want to come out because they are probably scared. What suggestions would you give?
Well, I was in that same boat, and I think everybody is in that boat of being afraid of shame, being afraid of losing something, either your position, your possession, respect. But I want to tell you that's what Satan uses to intimidate you. The fear of shame, the fear of loss. I would say, you know what, buck that shame and be open. You have to be wise in finding someone you can trust. And it doesn't necessarily always mean your immediate authority figure, because some people can't handle some issues, but you need to find someone who can handle it and share. And I wouldn't even say with one person, with more than one person's, but prayerfully ask the Lord how to get free, and he definitely will come through for you.
The church is supposed to be the source whereby you can get that kind of counseling. Now, since you've gone through that, and you're also a soul winner and evangelist, have you come across people here in Canada who have that experience? And also, are there mediums whereby, for example, if a person is an alcoholic, there's Alcoholic Anonymous. Is there such a venue for people who suffer from pornography?
There are some churches that have programs like Celebrate Recovery that will help you with that, and there are other programs. Even going through the Alpha course can help some people with that.
What is the Alpha course?
The Alpha course is basically a soul winning discipleship course. It takes people from, let's say, ground zero to teach them about the basics about the Christian faith. And it goes through some components of freedom and deliverance. Same with Celebrate Recovery. Celebrate Recovery was developed by Rick Warren from Saddleback Church, and it's definitely dealing with addictions and things like that, and that can help. One of the things I want to encourage churches with is that churches should be a fail-safe place. People should feel that they can come and it's a place where they won't be judged but restored. And if we have churches like that, there will be more people who will feel that they can be vulnerable to get healed.
Denial. Person has the same problem, whether it be pornography or any other addiction for that matter, but they're in denial. Well, you know what? I'm not really addicted to this. I can get out of it. How would one really come to full circle in ownership and saying, yes, this is my problem and I want to come out? But you know that the family is suffering as a result of that, whether it be gambling, pornography, alcohol. What are the symptoms for a loved one that will notice in that person?
Well, if you have someone who is in denial, they can't truly get help until they acknowledge their sin, acknowledge their weakness, their addiction. The help has to come now to the family members or the immediate persons who are affected by whatever addictions they're suffering. But until that person decides that I need the help, I can't help myself, they won't be helped.